What's the sponsor, my friend?
PrizePicks.
That's perfect. Purple background, like it was meant to be.
Come on, Minwoo Lee. And we are live. Welcome to NBA Live Before Lock. It's Sunday, April 14th, the final day of the NBA regular season, and it is a bit of a doozy. I'm Josh Engleman. I'm joined by Eric Lindquist. We're brought to you by PrizePicks. We're going to break this down as best as we can, but this is obviously a little bit of a crapshoot today, so buckle up, enjoy. We have really weird stuff to talk about. That is the NBA on the final day of the regular season. Before we get started, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Eric, what's up?
How'd you do on UFC 300 yesterday, too? We didn't talk about that when we got into the room.
I didn't play it from a DFS standpoint.
Okay.
I just bet it, and I was all over every bit of it. The only thing that really cost me a ton of money was I had Bo Nickel round one, and obviously did not finish in round one, but I had Alex Bejeda. I had Bo Nickel correct, obviously, in pieces at least. I had Oliveira, and I actually thought Oliveira won that fight, but unfortunately that didn't work out for me. I had Sterling. That worked out perfectly. Who else am I missing?
You're missing Max Holloway. Did you bet Max Holloway? Please tell me you bet Max Holloway.
Didn't bet Max Holloway, but he was my pick to win that fight.
Okay.
Didn't really trust it from like a betting perspective. I had Kayla Harrison in parts of all of my stuff. Anything that I had a good feel on, won.
That's fantastic.
That's what felt good. What about you?
Yeah. The only thing I bet was I had two bets. One of them won, one of them lost. Max Holloway to win and Max Holloway by decision, which I had a little bit smaller piece on, which was hilarious to watch a second before the bell. God, that was just a wild sweat at the end. I was like, wait, this isn't honestly not going to get there. Okay. Yeah, no, Justin Gaethje is out cold. There he is lying on the mat, but ended up being a really fun day. Fun event, and now into the Masters. Like this has been a top-notch weekend sports-wise, and now we're gonna ruin it here in the next 56 minutes.
Yeah, it's been good. I'm excited to park my ass and watch a bunch of golf in the near future. Golf coverage is terrible, but I guess I don't have to tell you that.
Yeah.
It's insane that it's not just on normally for the entire time that people are playing. But what are you gonna do there?
I don't get it, especially because it's sports betting. Like I don't get why you would ever cut away. And like at least the Masters is better than most, where you have the specific holes. You have 8-man corner, you have 4, 5, 6, you have featured groups, you have stuff like that. The fact that that doesn't go on a weekly basis is still just so freaking absurd.
Well, before we start anything, I want to go through the teams that have things to play for today and teams that don't. So in the East, Boston has locked up the 1 seed for months at this point. The Knicks, the Bucks, and the Cavs are all jockeying for 2, 3, and 4. And that could happen in any order. Then, if we wanted to go back down to the bottom, the Bulls, the Hawks, both locked into 9 and 10. Philly, Indiana, Orlando, and Miami, all 4 of those teams are jockeying for 5, 6, 7, and 8. And it can go in any direction depending on the results of some of these games. So lots of things to shake out in the East. In the West, Minnesota, Denver, OKC, all scrambling to figure out who's the 1, 2, and 3 seeds. Clippers are locked in at 4. Mavs are locked in at 5. Hells and Suns are locked in at 6 and 7, but being 6 is so different than being 7. It's way more likely for it to be the Pels at 6, but those are the only 2 teams that could be in those spots. Lakers, Warriors, Kings, all jockeying for 8, 9, 10. If I didn't mention you, you're not in the playoff race.
There we are.
Dude.
And then we've got teams like Charlotte that just decided to sit their entire starting 5 plus a couple, and it's going to get weird. So that'll be fun too.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. It's not easy. Salary basically doesn't matter. None of us really know what's going down today in terms of who's going to end up actually playing tons of minutes. The best you could hope for is to just try to play the guys that project the best for us, and move it along from there. I'm going to read off right now our boom table. Now, this was 2 hours ago. This hasn't refreshed yet, but the principle of what I want to say still remains. We have, or had, 8 guys 60% higher to boom or more, upwards of 90s. Craig Porter, Lonnie Walker, Trendon Watford, Jaden Springer, O'Shea Brissett, Kada, Patrick Baldwin, and Svi Mikhailuk. Everybody that I just named that has a 60% boom rating is $4,600 or less, and 6 of those 8 names are sub 4K. Whatever you want to do today in terms of who you want to roster, it's on the table. Salary is the most meaningless thing that could possibly exist. You want to talk about pay up options?
Question mark? Yes.
Joel Embiid is the only player on today's slate north of 10K. Do you have a specific Joel Embiid take before we start looking at the 9K guys?
Play him. I think that's the take. He projects for 56 fantasy points. The next guy on the slate is at 49 and change, being Jalen Brunson. I am very much here for that. So I'm playing Joel Embiid, and I think you should too. How about that?
I have nothing else to add. It's by all accounts, Philly wants to do anything they could to win the game. Joel Embiid is the guy on that team that gives them the best chance to do that and provide the highest fantasy score. And his price is completely meaningless for what you want to do today. If you like Joel Embiid, go to him. He was 40% optimal and 40% owned in our last run. See no reason you can't get there. How do you want to manage the rest of this 9K range? And if you want to include some of the 8s, go for it.
Sure. So the 9K range, you're basically just kind of slapping somebody in these Embiid lineups as well. Again, it's impossible to spend salary to the full extent if you're not going to be playing Embiid in this 9K range. So you just kind of do it. We did see a slate on Friday, last show you and I did, where Nikola Jokic kind of failed, 55 it was, and didn't end up optimal in those kind of situations. But this is even more extreme than what we're running into from before. I do think as long as he's playing, you have a chance to go to Trae Young at 9,300. But the only guy that I really trust is Tyrese Halliburton because of the implications. But that's reflected in the ownership. So I don't know. I think there's reasons to fire some of them up because 45-50 can still end up working out for you on this kind of a slate. It has that kind of feel to it where, oh, okay, Jalen Brunson, probably the most secure of the 9K range.
Yeah.
Tyrese Halliburton second, but then I do want to take shots on if Trae Young's going to be out there, they want to give him some work. They want to get him acclimated, see how far he can kind of get pushed before they get to the play-in tournament, before they have their game against Chicago. So for me, if you're trying to get different in the 9K range, it'd pretty much be Trae Young or bust. I see no reason that I would play DeJounte Murray at 9,400 with Trae Young back. Absolutely no reason. And Dame, I got to think that they're going to bubble wrap a little bit here for Milwaukee, just because, they're going for the 2 seed, but overall, Giannis, Dame, having health, that really, really matters. And also, have you thought about the implications of who they would want to be playing in this first round?
Not really, just because of the way that it's set up with 3 separate teams jockeying for 2, 3, 4, and then 4 for 5, 6, 7, 8. I just don't think that there's anything you could do to make yourself feel great about that.
It's fair. Yeah, for me,
if they could, yes, but I just don't know how easy it is to do that today.
Agreed. Just from a talking point perspective, rather than just saying, oh, I think it's the 2 guys who have games that really, really mean something. And then you've got Lillard where how much do you really want to push Lillard with an adductor and with Giannis banged up and with everything else going on with them? I got to think help still a priority there for them. Orlando, for all intents and purposes, wants to win this basketball game too. So it's going to be competitive on their side of the street. And Milwaukee, no matter what, they're getting a first round matchup, which I think is good enough for them.
God, I hate all of this.
Yep.
You got Maxey sitting there at 8,900 too. That's not getting a ton of love. Sneaky enough, I guess, for what's going on here. Don't hate the idea of if you think Embiid can get there, then you should probably think that Maxey can get there too at relatively minimal ownership. But my confidence level for a lot of this is very low. We'll have more confidence talking about tiers. Shout out to Ace of Spades. Here we go. Tier 1, Halliburton, Jimmy Butler.
Halliburton. Good Lord.
That's it. Donovan Mitchell out. Manuel quickly out. So,
What a time to be alive.
Joel Embiid ruled out. That's what I'm telling you guys. We're here talking basketball, sort of. But, KJ Martin out. Melton out. So, Ace of Spades, give us a second. All right, highest dollar guy on this slate now is Jalen Brunson, who's, if he was popular before, he's going to be more popular now.
Why did I reserve contests today? Why did I do this?
No idea. Didn't word come out earlier that Embiid was going to play?
Yeah, and that apparently means nothing because Nick Nurse is a damn dirty liar, the likes of which the world's never seen before. It's good.
Well,
oh God. All right. Well,
Paul Reed season?
Yeah, well, now it's just going to be Infinity, Brunson, Halliburton, and then Maxey. Maxey should probably be the most popular play on the slate.
In terms of payups, yeah, probably. It's going to be him and Brunson, right?
Yeah. Fuck.
So okay. Dumb. So we got
we could have just slept in and watched the Masters today too, Greg. That was an option today.
You don't got to tell me. I would have happily packed this bad boy in. Bam Adebayo, Paolo Banchero, Jared Allen. That's tier 2.
Banchero.
Yeah, it's Banchero. Bam's close.
Yeah, pretty close.
Siakam, Mobley, Garland, Cam Thomas.
Siakam. Cam Thomas seems fun, though. Cam Thomas, absolute hero of the people. Last game out, PRA to the moon, 41 spot, bet his points, bet PRA. Nick Claxton also got there by the hook. So I didn't know if you saw that on Friday. That was an enjoyable experience for me.
Sure did.
I was pretty convinced that Ollie just wants to try to win the job. And when they had Day'Ron Sharpe out, I was like, man, Claxton's going to play a lot, isn't he? And sure enough, that came to fruition. He didn't even play good. He played like shit. He played 36 minutes. And I was watching the game, and I'm just like, dude, do something. What is wrong with you? He is so freaking stupid on the offensive end. It's unbelievable. But Cam Thomas, I do like for tournaments today. I will continue to just say, hey, they're just letting him play infinity minutes and shoot every time down the floor. 41 last time out. Very, very live for such a thing today, but no way I'm going to prioritize him over Siakam in a game that matters.
Tier 3, you went Siakam. I'm going to go Mobley in that one.
Okay. It's fine too. He's a great spot.
Tier 4, Hero, Kobe White, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Josh Hart.
Hero.
Me, Josh Hart.
Okay.
Basically the same answer for me there. Tier 5 actually filled. Mikal Bridges, Tobias Harris, Nick Claxton, DiVincenzo, Oubre, Portis, Kelly Olynyk.
I just clicked out of it. I don't even know who it is. No idea.
I think it's DiVincenzo for me. I'm starting to get to a lot of Knicks in tiers.
They seem secure. They want to win.
Yeah. Give me DiVincenzo there. Carving up Chicago. And then finally, tier 6. Miles Turner, Anunoby, Strus, McConnell, Trey Mann, Corey Kispert, Peyton Pritchard, Misic.
Is it just insane that it's Pritchard?
Is it Pritchard?
I think it is.
I think it's Miles Turner.
42. I've got Pritchard for a lot of fantasy points today, so there's that.
I'm going Miles Turner.
That's your boy, though.
Why does the lineup generator have Embiid in? I paid for this. It's almost like he got ruled out 2 minutes ago.
Jesus criminy. I can't today, people. I can't do it. Josh, I can't. I can't do it.
Well, you got to do something. And you got to do the most important thing that exists in this show. It's 12:16. Even on a Sunday, we need to know who is the exotic play of the day.
This is like exotic day, isn't it? This is like the most exotic of days.
This is why we're here, everybody. The final day of the regular season. They should brand it themselves as the exotic day of the regular season. We get to come in full force. Who are you going with? Lots of
There's
choices.
so many ways to go. Oh, there's a ton of choices, but I do want to at least point people in the direction of Charlotte, where Miles Bridges, Brandon Miller, Grant Williams, Nick Richards, Williams has been out forever, and then Davis Bertans. You've got the entire team out. And so as you start working through who can do what and who might be out there for what minutes and how things go about, there's a guy at 4,200 who's generally been a good fantasy producer back in his Oklahoma City days. And I think this is finally the spot. We haven't seen him play more than 27 minutes in a game this entire year. Obviously, we didn't see him play until he joined Charlotte. But I think for me, if I ramp him up to like 32, 33 minutes, which I don't see any reason why not today, unless they just want to dilute it to Bolden, to Thor, to some of these other characters. You've got very, very limited choices out there for Charlotte to roll out. And so I'm going to just go very, very contrarian right from the get-go here. I put him in for 30 minutes, and this could get really, really fun if he goes out and goes completely nuts like he should. Alexei Pokusevski, your exotic play of the night.
I'm on the hunt for exotics at the top of the boom bust table, trying to figure out who is potentially exotic and who's not. Some of these guys, I'm not entirely sure. I know the answer.
So I have Pritchard for a lot of fantasy points, but I am at least nervous that he's played himself into like the 10, 12 minutes come playoff time where, I didn't necessarily on Friday, we had talked about it where it's like, oh shit, yeah, of course they're going to just let him go completely nuts. And he did. But today, now that it's all over, I feel like maybe you just ramp it down a little bit, and stuff like that is going to show up throughout this slate. So embrace the variance, if you will. But I'm not going to make Pritchard the obvious one because, again, I think he's going to be popular. I think he's probably the most obvious exotic on the slate.
Eric, jump into playback.
Okay.
We were wrong.
We were wrong. Always are.
Just 1 second, folks. Hopping on to playback.
There we are. There we are.
Boom.
And joining.
Cool. So I'm in playback now. Perfect. All right. I need to figure out who it's going to be. And I'm struggling because I find this range difficult at a minimum. You've gone Poku as your exotic play of the day. A lot of respect for it.
Thank you.
I'm going to go Boston style. I have to, but it is not going to be Peyton Pritchard. Let's be clear here. This is the least confident I've been for what we're doing right now. But today, your white of the day is Svi Mikhailiuk.
Okay. I thought you were going to go Cornette, and I'm like, I'm very nervous about the minutes. Svi, I'm not worried about the minutes whatsoever. He played 34. He's going to play eternal minutes here, too. I love it.
Man. Hell of a day. Hell of a day. Let's talk Oddshopper.
Yeah.
By the way, love it. Fantastic product. We've posted more data in our Discord on the success of what we've had for Oddshopper over the past, stretch of time. At one point, we put out the 40,000 bets we've recommended on the NBA side, returned at a 4% ROI. The data is fantastic on Oddshopper. It is the easiest way to get down bets throughout the day. I love it now that I'm in a legal sports betting state. It's also fantastic for you on the pick'em side. There are links in the description of this video if you want to sign up for Oddshopper. We have optimizers for pick'em sites, parlay builders, odds boost calculators. We take a market-based approach to beating the book. So we're giving out expected value calculations, expected win rate for each bet. One click and immediately you're at the book with that line trying to get that bet down. It's quick. It's fast. Our brand new live odds screen is loaded with data if you want to dig in even further. It's an absolute no-brainer. I don't have a special for you, but I do think you should sign up clicking the link in the description or the one that just popped up in chat. GPP plays. Ooh, boy. Probably a few options here in that anybody that you think could play 30 minutes is in play. Um, who stands out as a potential GPP play?
Everybody? I like legitimately, I'm going through pieces that I think are the most intriguing relative to ownership. I think Patrick Baldwin highlighted him, started him, circled him on Friday there. I think they were just running that one back. He played 41 minutes. They have no regard for any of his well-being whatsoever. So I think Baldwin is just an exceptional play yet again at 3,900. Talked about Poku. I don't think he'll exactly get crazy, crazy popular. I'm looking at a number of pieces on Toronto that could end up being a little bit more appealing with Quickly out, with Barnes out, and now we got word that RJ Barrett was going to be out. So I think Jordan Nwora probably jumps to the top of the board for me out of that grouping. We haven't gotten any word about Kelly Olynyk. Kelly Olynyk should be out there, and does he have revenge in his heart against his former team? But I mean, you just go down the line. Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas isn't going to get any attention whatsoever. Everybody's going to click on Brunson Maxey, and I think you should be clicking on Brunson and Maxey for what it's worth. But if you want to sprinkle in Cam Thomas, who just continues to play massive minutes and shoot every single time, I have no problem firing him up. I think Jaden Springer from Boston is somebody that I want to be getting to. Oh, Darius Garland's out. So that's going to be interesting because this is a Cleveland team already without Donovan Mitchell. I think, for the love of God, Craig Porter Jr., he was already going to be popular. Now he's 3K and the best play on the slate. So Craig Porter Jr.
Have you seen his boom rating?
No, I have not.
97%.
Seems good.
He's going to have to take a sniper bullet to not get provide value at 3K.
Do not ship him.
And that, by the way, that was before the Garland news.
If Jordan
He's the best play on the slate, and it's not even remotely close, right?
No, you're clicking Craig Porter Jr. He's the first click that you have today. He's 3K. I'm just going to take this little bar. I'm going to move it to the side here. I have him for 42.5 fantasy points. Seems useful.
Yeah, you can give him 32.5 fantasy points, and he's still probably the best play on today's slate.
Better than 10x there. But yeah, he is a meaningful basketball player when it comes to fantasy point per minute rate. And again, absolutely nobody's out there now. Also for tiers, for whatever it's worth, Mobley, Allen look exceptional on this slate. So I think those are guys that might go a little bit not under-owned. I don't think that anybody doesn't see that they get massive bumps here without Mitchell, without LeVert, without Garland now. But from a backcourt perspective, it is going to be infinite minutes for Mr. Craig Porter Jr. and probably Max Strus. That's the other guy that I think looks a lot better with this news.
I trust nothing right now. But yeah, in theory, you would think Strus would have a much bigger day of taking whatever shot he wants whenever he wants to take that shot.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Do not miss your chance to blow. The opportunity comes once in a lifetime, yo.
All right. I'm trying to think through some more GPP plays. On our last run, we had a lot of positive leverage on someone like Patrick Baldwin. That dude scares the hell out of me. But, 25% optimal, 8% owned on our last run. That kind of stands out a little bit. We had a similar setup for Trey Mann, where ownership was not really matching optimals. Dame is in a situation where ownership is not really matching optimal. Should we be? Do we need to do we need to think about this one a little bit differently now that Embiid is out? Should we be more interested in Dame?
It's a good point. I mean, it's a terrible matchup, which makes me feel better about fading him out of anybody else. Like Brunson gets Chicago with nobody. Maxey gets Brooklyn in a game that matters. And obviously this game matters, but like Dame still has a lot of paths to failure. And at least Orlando, second in adjusted defensive rating this season, makes me feel better about being lower on him. But, it's about raw points. And if you told me Dame put up 60 here without Giannis out there, wouldn't shock me, but like, I know this is why I kind of like your guy Middleton. He only played 23 minutes. They got blown out by Oklahoma City, so they kept it pretty marginal for him. I think if I were to take a shot on Milwaukee, I don't want to use a guard spot on Dame because I prefer pretty much everybody in his range, and then Craig Porter Jr. is just a lock in the lineup. But I'm playing 3 lineups. I was able to get out of some stuff here. I'm going to play Middleton in one of them for sure.
I love my boy Middleton. Need him to be healthy in the next week or two so that when they get back and they're ready to go, they can be at full strength. Because I love their best five is really good. Whether or
Yeah.
not it's going to be able to be out there is going to be up for debate. Trying to look through some of this. My boy Minwoo Lee just picked up the old double bogey, so that one didn't help at all. Corey Connors though, 200 today. I'll take what I can get.
Well, I'm still being a dipshit.
He's even.
Okay,
He
that's fine.
hasn't been out there that long. Yeah, my big problem was Minwoo Lee was looking great until he wasn't.
If Morikawa wins, I will not complain for at least a week about
So
anything.
is that who you want to win?
It's who I bet. I bet three guys, and Morikawa was one of them. The number just got a little ridiculous before the tournament. Yeah.
Okay.
And then played him. I just jammed him. He's sub 5% in everything and just jammed him. So Shark Slam. Thanks, Jesse.
Ew.
Yeah, I know. It's a pretty awful bit, but you know what? We like him anyway. I think.
I'm still trying to figure out who else we should be looking at in GPPs that isn't just, hey, this guy is free and jammed.
Honestly, I don't know. What do you think Baldwin's ownership gets to here? Because I'm looking at multiple places where they got him projected much lower than the guy who just played 38, 41 minutes. Like, I don't know what exactly changed. I don't think Jordan Poole's going to play, but we've got a 3% bust next to Patrick Baldwin Jr. as well. I mean, we're going to get a lot of those guys, but like 3,900 for him, that's more appealing to me than Trendon Watford at 4,600. I know Trendon Watford's a decent enough play, but like I do prefer Baldwin.
I mean, given the ownership disparity, it's a fascinating pivot where you save $700 and you cut your ownership from, the 50s to the 10s. That's a big time change if you're just looking to hemorrhage a little bit of ownership. What do you think of the Bulls? Because we got word that they're supposed to play whatever the hell normal minutes means. Vooch is out there, DeRozan's out there, Kobe White's out there, Dosunmu's out. Is this a team that we should be paying closer attention to?
I can't do it. I can't click on anything. So the prices have come up on like Sunoco and Craig and all these guys that I thought were going to be the featured pieces today. And I thought we would be talking about them. But then with the word that DeRozan, Vooch, White, Caruso, normal minutes, I'm just putting them in with enough minutes to not really matter because they're going to pale in comparison to the Knicks on the other side with Brunson, Hart, DiVincenzo. And then just other spots on the slate where it's just nonstop cheapies that allow me to have access to a maxi without Embiid, to have access to, just about anything that I want that is remotely expensive. Halliburton, obviously, in that spot for him. I think there's ways that Chicago, like if somebody does go completely ballistic there, I don't think you really have an opportunity. Jordan Poole out good. I'm pretty positive that you're not going to have to get that part of it right. Like, I can't imagine that somebody's going to put up the 55, 60 that, not that you want, need, but it just feels like the minutes are going to be reduced enough where it's like 32, 33, and that's not going to help at all. Like, they're not going to show up in a lineup for me.
Tristan Vukcevic out, Rashawn Holmes out, Jordan Poole out. I'm just reading off what's coming in. Hornets will start Micic, Mann, McGowens, Thor, Bolden. I feel like I'm reading off the worst law firm ever.
That's fucking good. Marquise Bolden. My God, what a time to be alive. And also, we know Micic is playing like what, a quarter or something? Like, why play him at all? It's the dumbest thing ever. Just sit him. But Trey Mann's a good play, so that's nifty.
Heat will start Hero, Martin, Butler, Jovic, Adebayo. Dame is available. Wendell Carter Jr. is available. So, slowly but surely getting more of the news here coming in. It's just tough, man. It's hard to talk about. It just is. It's hard to talk about. We haven't had any other pieces of news that we definitely need to hit on.
Poco's not starting, obviously. That was the thing I should have taken out of what I just read.
Do you want to amend your white of the night.
I do. I believe it would be wise for me to. Let's just take. Who do I want it to be? Max Strus. Max Strus seems fun now.
It's a sneakier one too.
Yep. I don't think he's going to get a crazy amount of attention. I think Max Strus, without everybody there, 37, 38 minutes, all the usage and all the land, him and Craig Porter Jr., what could be better than rostering them the final game of the slate?
My only concern is that they just don't play him the way that you want him to be played.
That is very, very live. It's the same concern I probably have about like playing Jared Allen as much as I want to. Again, I'm playing 3 lineups now, so it's not like I'm going to lose any sleep over this, but I think Jared Allen is going to be in one. I think I'll have Evan Mobley in 1 or 2, but they don't feel, again, we're talking about feeling on this slate. I mean, this is just absurd.
Ooh. Magic will start Suggs, Harris, Wagner, Isaac, Banchero.
Jesus. What Steven are we doing here?
Stephen Leibowitz says, I wish you were all coming back for the 3:30 lock. I wish we didn't show up for the 1 o'clock lock.
So does this mean that Wendell Carter's out, or that we like what is going on there?
I mean, he just got announced as available to play. I mean, here's the easy thing here is you're not playing him either way on a day like today.
No.
Now we got the Celtics starting lineup: Pritchard, Mikhailuk, Hauser, Walsh, Cornett. What does Walsh look like? Just out of curiosity.
I believe I have to be careful with how I say this, but he's the guy from Arkansas, I believe, with the shaved head, or like.
He looks like Charlie Villanueva. Got it.
There you go. That's
okay. I thought they were running an exotic out in Boston, but it doesn't appear.
I'm pretty positive he was a really touted high school player back in the day, I believe. Walsh Celtics. But yeah, I'm pretty positive. Yep.
Richard, Mikhailuk, Hauser, Cornett is quite exotic.
It's very exotic. We are getting super, super exotic up in this bitch.
Wizards will start Davis, Kispert, Avdia, Baldwin, Gill. Probably paying attention to Anthony Gill at this point based on that lineup.
Yeah, very much so. He's 4,100.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, he's 4,100, played 36 minutes 2 games ago. But I mean, Baldwin's my dude today. I'm playing 100%. There's no way I'm not.
They need to add a refund button to these things. Ace of Spades, you're killing me with this. DK tiers for the late games. Whoever projects high, man. Good God. Lillard, Beverly, Middleton, Portis, Lopez going for the Bucks. Freeman, Liberty, Trent, Dick, Akbaji, Olynyk going for the Raptors. Let me pull up this late night tiers. Do they even have contests?
I think they do.
They do. They have
White,
one
Caruso,
available.
Green, DeRozan, Vooch. So they are starting these people for whatever reason. They decided to start these people. Hawks, Young, Murray, Bogdanovich, Hunter, Fernando. So I guess Fernando's the one guy we haven't talked about from the Atlanta side. It's obviously a pace up. It's against a team that wants to win. And Bruno Fernando has been known a time or two to be decent. But I do think Mohamed Gaye probably plays, 22? So probably only 26 minutes of Fernando. That's probably not enough today at 4,700.
The word you're looking for there is gay.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Not a joke either.
I know.
Tier 1 afternoon slate, I guess. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Steph Curry, DeAndre Ayton.
I mean, Ayton's going to play infinity minutes all the time, but I didn't hear the
Durant?
first name, but and for sure. Yeah, game that matters. Let's go.
Yeah. All right. Tier 2. Zion, CJ, Russell, Jalen Green.
Zion.
Agreed. Chet, Jalen Williams, Austin Reeves, Trey Murphy, Scoot.
Chet.
Do I have Chet over Jalen?
Yes, I do.
Why am I not? Oh, there's his name. Good God. I think I'm going Jalen. I think I'm going Jalen Williams there.
Yeah, you're probably right. I just, I was lazy. It's pretty close.
Tier 4, Nurk, Beal, Ivy, Kuminga, Amin Thompson, Gigi Jackson.
Nurk or Beal.
I think it's Amin Thompson for me.
Oh my God. Welcome to the final game of the slate, or the final day. Yeah, 38 fantasy points for Ahmed Thompson. That seems good. Yeah.
All right. Jabari Smith, Scottie Pippen, Trey Jones, Keontae George, Rui Hachimura, Jabari Walker, Jordan Goodwin. This is getting bleak.
Yeah, the first one by a little bit.
The first one.
I'm doing shit over here.
It's Scottie Pippen for me.
And then is satanic for asking this.
Finally, Brandon Pajemski, Zach Collins, Herb Jones, Andrew Wiggins, Jake LaRavia, Trace Jackson Davis, Bones Highland, and Sandro Mamukelashvili.
Oh no.
I think that's Mamu.
Yeah, it sounds fun. Mamu, who just burned the entire, like, everybody on Earth. So yeah, that makes sense. You'll go nuts.
Woof. Woof, woof, woof. All right. We've worked our way through a second tiers question. Death. We should work our way through PrizePicks, the sponsor of this show. You see the banner at the top of the screen. You can get up to $100 on your first deposit. And PrizePicks is just awesome. I've run a PrizePicks video the entire NBA season. We're profitable for the entire NBA season. Even if we did go out with a bit of a whimper, it's still good from start to finish. That's going to transition into baseball probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I'm guessing. We'll certainly have NBA going for the next few weeks. You could also use Oddshopper, which we talked about, to get a ton of PrizePicks plays on a day-to-day basis. Use the PrizePicks optimizer if you want to build that card out as fast as you possibly can want to do. It's very easy. All you have to do to sign up at PrizePicks is click the link in the description of this video. Again, you get up to $100 on your first deposit. Oh boy. All right. Let's talk fades. Who's pulling too much ownership here? Who are guys that, like, you just don't want a part of today that people are getting to?
I guess we're kind of flying a little blind with it, but I do not feel good about this amount of ownership going into Trendon Watford at the moment. There's just a lot of ways that you can get away from 57% ownership there, and just seems a little bit insane. Like, I'm going to play Craig Porter. I think you should. I think Svi Mikhailuk, we're pretty low in terms of optimal percentage, but I think he plays a ton. So, like, there's no way that he's not at least in play for me here. Trendon Watford, I mean, going through some of the minutes for him, Clowney, he played 38, but that was pretty weird to see, 10 shot attempts total. The usage isn't exactly going to be there. Claxton's playing. I don't find it to just be like full send there with Bridges. We know he's going to play at least a quarter and do his normal thing. We're going to see Cam Thomas again out there chucking more than likely. I find it hard to believe that I want to play a guy more than 50% in a game environment between Brooklyn and Philly here, and just kind of have that be where I make my stand. I would much rather go to any of these other chalky pieces. Like, love Brunson, love Craig Porter Jr., love all these guys pulling like 40-ish%, 50-ish% in that range, but definitely going to be down on Trendon Watford.
I'm just looking through some of this ownership here and trying to figure out the guys that I think are a little scary, maybe. We didn't talk about them before, but I do, well, we sort of talked about him before. I do find Paolo Banchero more interesting that he's starting at the 5 now.
Yeah.
That's just going to be interesting from like a spacing perspective. Kind of a weird situation, but I'll take what I can get.
The first time we've seen it all year. Like, we haven't seen this starting lineup once. I mean, it's technically, I think, Isaac playing the 5.
Yeah.
It might have been just listed because, I mean, Isaac's played 5 here plenty of times. We did get the normal Watford, Clowney, Claxton. I guess normal for this time of year lineup. So it's not that I hate Watford, but there's that. Isaac's never going to play enough to matter, but yeah, I'm with you. I think Paolo Banchero definitely the rebound opportunity there. Got to be nifty. Brooke Lopez, not the best spot to be facing him, but yeah, Paulo's very, very good.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued by him now. Just changes the shape of the team. Not sure what they're doing, but who the hell knows? Matt Comer said Sonogo. He is a complete no-go for today. You should
Zero.
not even think about putting him into a lineup today. Fades. Certainly not Peyton Pritchard. He should look pretty damn good at 5,500. I'm just working my way down the list for names that like kind of indifferent to. I mean, Pascal Siakam on our last run was like 2x over owned. Obviously, they want to win, but this is just sort of like a normal Pascal Siakam day. It doesn't feel like the day that I'm trying to get to him if he's pulling any love.
Yeah.
Olrat says, how about Sam Hauser on DK? Maybe Bolden, Charlotte.
I got a sneaky guy. I got a sneaky suspicion Kelly Oubre is a good play today. I don't know. It feels like if I'm not going to play Maxey in a lineup where I'm going to go Halliburton, Brunson, again, not something I would generally think about in NBA DFS, but like Oubre kind of falls into a spot at 6,700 that I kind of like to get to him. I'm looking at PrizePicks right now, our sponsor, and just
we got new data.
Okay, thank you. I want to see what Kelly Oubre is. Yeah, he's sitting at 25.5 PRA over there right now. That's kind of intriguing to me.
I'm not a huge fan of Hauser, by the way, Olrat. Not somebody that I'm like overly excited to get to because his price is already up a bit. He doesn't have the same sort of value that's coming out of some of these other guys. Not that value matters, but like he's less appealing to me. There's a lot of guys that, since salary doesn't matter, there's a lot of guys projected for around 30 fantasy points. Like Hauser's more of a deeper GPP option than anything else. And then you mentioned Bolden for Charlotte.
Hauser also has playoff utility. We talked about that on Friday, where I can't imagine that Sam Hauser gets the same kind of run that Svi is going to get, Pritchard's going to get. It would be surprising to me to see Hauser get inflated to a spot where he's playing 36 minutes today. It would just be kind of ludicrous.
And Bolden looks solid. Just another guy that's like in the 3K range that's playing more than he should. I mean, we have Svi, Poku, Bolden, Nick Smith, Anthony Gill, Jared Butler, Luke Cornett. These are all like 3K, 4K dudes, all projected for like 25 to 28 fantasy points, all looking basically exactly the same in boom rating. There's just so many dudes that look like all these guys that are 100% in play, but also completely uninteresting. To separate from the pack, you got to be a Craig Porter today. You have to be Peyton Pritchard today, who is going to just run the team from a usage and ball handling perspective. Those two guys have the highest boom ratings of anybody in our data right now. Baldwin continuing to look interesting to me.
Love him.
But I don't know. I don't trust anything that the Wizards do. Maxey, Lowry, Oubre, Harris, Bamba starting for the Sixers.
Okay.
Standard starting lineup for the Knicks. Standard starting lineup for the Hawks. Standard Thomas Bridges, Watford, Clowney, Claxton going for the Nets.
Is there any reason whatsoever to play anybody besides Brunson, Lillard, Halliburton to spend up for today? Is there anybody else that you would be spending 8K plus for? Bam, I guess. Banchero, I guess. Maxey, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, I think Brunson looks great. I think Dame looks better than the ownership shows. Murray, I can't imagine playing, although like you get to a point where like if you think he's going to play 36 minutes, which who the hell knows? I don't know why they would. The price doesn't matter as much. I just don't know why you would want to go there. Trey's sitting there right at the same spot too, completely unowned. Yeah, it's Halliburton, it's Maxey, it's Banchero, it's Bam. Like that group of four looks pretty good. If Maxey continues to be unowned, he's the guy that you get to in this range, I think.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the pivot I'm making. I'm with you there. I like that one.
And who the hell knows? Like Maxey could play the first half and then never go back out there.
It'd be my luck. It'd be perfect.
I don't know how we're going to unearth the Amber Heard play of the day, but that's where we're at right now. This whole slate is the Amber Heard play of the day.
Yeah, this slate is absurd. We didn't talk about him. There's no way that Lonnie Walker isn't the Amber Heard. Like if I play him, he's going to play 10 minutes, and if I don't play him, he's going to play 36 and put up 60. So he played 33 minutes against the Knicks last time out. I do think even with him coming off the bench, we're going to see a massive minutes allotment for him compared to what we probably like. It's going to go one way or the other. It's just, I don't know what I want to do with Lonnie Walker. I keep landing on like, I need 3,600. I'm, looking at Bryce McGowan's and Davis and all these other idiots. And it's like, well, I do prefer Lonnie Walker's upside, but like there's such downside with this idiot that I just can't even.
That dude has probably broken more hearts than most this year with the times that he's shown up as owned and just absolutely shit the bed or barely played, all that nonsense.
Yeah. I had won 10K with it, or no, but that wasn't my 30K lineup. He won 10K for me earlier this season off the bench out of absolutely nowhere at like 0.6% ownership. So I can't be mad at him, but I can guarantee you that I've played him more than most people this season. So I probably am down money overall, even with a 10K win attached to him because he's just the worst.
Yeah, that was funny. All right, we don't really have any other news trickling in, so I'm just opening it up to everybody here. Whatever questions you have for this final 10 minutes, we're happy to hit on them. I will once again tell you, if it's a 1v1 or a 2v2, I will ignore it. Go to stochastic.com, use the player compare tool. It is totally free. It will give you projections, ownership, boom bust, optimal rates. It'll tell you who to take. The only thing that I'm going to do is type those names into the player compare tool and give you the exact same answer. So you could save yourself. You can cut the middleman out if you want and do it all on your own. I mean, it's the no-brainer of all no-brainers. Freeman Liberty, sneaky or fade?
I could, if I were playing more than 3 lineups, I would think about it, but I don't have to think about it at 3.
I mean, definitely sneaky, if anything else. He's unowned and will be unowned. So you are definitely sneaky. Everyone else is already fading.
Yeah, I think the most appealing play from Toronto is Gary Trent, and I don't think it's close.
If Philly doesn't want to lose, guys, I keep seeing the same stuff in chat. If they didn't want to lose, you'd see Joel Embiid on the floor. They're obviously like mildly tolerant of losing today.
Yeah. They're not going to
play Maxey 44 minutes while also sitting other dudes.
This is probably true.
Joseph Ramirez says, what's worse, doing this show or the result earlier today? Oddly enough, it's the result earlier today.
It's bleak. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a bummer. Shouldn't have been like that.
They done screwed up.
Let's see. What else do we have? Yeah, Darth Gator. It's almost like the last 2 weeks of the NBA season are a garbage product to try to analyze.
It's really hard, guys. It's really, really gross. It's tough.
We don't have takes for this stuff. You got to understand. Like, there's not throw the data at it and hope that whatever it tells me is what I'm going to go for. There's no one knows anything. It's like buying lottery tickets.
Yeah. Well, yes and no. I do think that just paying attention to news and being able to be functional with that rather than just, going into the contest generator, making a bunch of lineups that are garbage as is, and then, simming for the top garbage lineups. Like, you've still got to have some inputs and some idea of what you're putting together. But at the end of the day, there are going to be more unbelievably unexpected things that are going to pop up from the lagoon to kill you today than on a normal NBA slate, barring injury or barring, the range of outcomes is just so exponentially wider on a guy like Trae Young or DeJounte Murray. Would it shock any of us if they played one quarter in a game that didn't matter? No, it wouldn't. And so they are projected for 38 or 40. They could also play normal minutes and put up 60 because one of them plays and one of them doesn't. We don't know. And trying to like parse out which pieces of news are real and which aren't, like you got to just tread lightly with it. You don't want to overextend your bankroll. Like there's guys like DK DFS. He's awesome. Does shows with you, does the deeper dive a lot. And, I know he loves this time of year, but it also, he understands that there is some uncertainty that exists here that can just kill you. And there's nothing you can do about it. And if you accept that before you go in, like it is, you're going to lose a lot of DFS slates where everything's normal as is, but they're exponentially more ridiculous this time of year.
And it like just the way that the seeding's dropping, where like you can't really do anything other than like not care about it.
Yep.
Philly, Indy, Orlando, Miami. They're 4 teams jockeying for 4 different spots, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Like you can only control so much. Same for the Knicks, Milwaukee, and Cleveland. It's not like there's obvious spots. Like Scott mentioned, Philly doesn't want to get Boston. Well, it's like they can't control for any bit of that at this point in time. They can be the 5 seed, the 6 seed. To not play Boston, they have to not lose the play-in game no matter what. So like they could guarantee not playing for Boston, and it has nothing to do with their outcome today. As long as they win their play-in game, they don't have to play Boston, and it doesn't matter. They can play nobody today. They can cancel the game if they want to and still not play Boston so long as they win their next one. So they can't even control for that on a day like today. That's what we're up against.
Well put.
Sure. Do they want to win and try to be 5 or 6 and not be in the play-in? Yeah. But if they're in the play-in, they don't have to play Boston. It's all garbage. It's all tough. Everybody wants to win. But what do we do with that information? Knicks, like so many of these, like Darius Garland, not playing today for Cleveland. They want to win, don't they?
Yeah. You sure do.
We're seeing a lot of teams that want to win today that have jockeying to do that are still not playing their dudes.
Yeah. It's bleak out there in the streets, friends. It's bleak. But again, it is a different type of DFS, and it's a different type of like analysis.
Yeah.
We are truly grasping at straws to some extent and trying to still give you good information. It's just, I don't know what we're going to get for minutes for a lot of these guys. And that's like the cornerstone of what we do, is trying to figure out minutes and where there's disparity in terms of fantasy point per minute rates and upside of minutes and downside of minutes on chalky pieces. And like, again, it's just, we're in the middle of the Wild West here, friends.
It's tough. It's tough. Like every year we do this, and every year somebody we think was going to play a lot of minutes is not going to play those minutes. Somebody that we didn't expect to play those minutes is going to play those minutes. Guys with real names, real projections, you're going to see teams just be like, oh, so like, here's a different starting 5 in the second half.
Yep. It's coming.
And we don't know who that's going to be. 57 ski, $8,800 last man in at small forward. Sure.
How much?
8,700. So basically anybody on the slate at small forward. DeMar DeRozan. Now, Jimmy Butler. Maybe. Jimmy Butler.
Butler or Siakam. Those are your 2.
Yep. Oh, Denny. Denny is actually the answer.
Yeah, so Denny at 7,800 is kind of interesting to me. I do have Butler a little bit more. I have Siakam a little bit more, but again, Denny at 7,800, another dude who's just playing eternal minutes for whatever reason. I guess it just doesn't matter. 38, 41, 38. He's been the guy who's made some of these games competitive for them. They're playing a second unit Boston team. No problem if you want to go Denny.
No. I think it's hilarious how big of dogs they still are. Craig Porter, 97.6% boom rate.
I am playing him in 100% of lineups, everyone.
Patrick Baldwin, 3rd highest boom rate. We only have him at 16% ownership right now. Is he the sneakiest play of today's slate?
I have 100% of him, so I hope so. I hope that is correct. I think the sneakiest play of the slate. I mean, Baldwin's played a lot of massive minutes. He's starting. I don't think he's going to go overlooked. But like, if we're talking just like straight out, I don't think anybody is going to click on it. I think it's got to be Middleton. I think it's got to be your dude. Like nobody is playing Chris Middleton today, and him. But we've seen like the Bobby Portis eruption games and such. Like Middleton is like extremely, extremely due for that game. Like nobody is clicking on him. I'm going to play him in this lineup that I'm looking at now.
We are coming down the home stretch. If you don't have your lineups in yet, you have about 2 minutes to go before we close out the final day of the regular season. No basketball tomorrow, guys. You'll have the play-in games on Tuesday and Wednesday. Then no basketball on Thursday. Then you close out the play-in games on Friday. So be aware of what's coming up for next week. But yeah, no basketball at all tomorrow. They do their travel and getting everybody ready to get to all of the play-in games, which we have we know that we're getting Miami and Chicago, and then that is it. We have no idea what the other play-in games are going to look like, which is going to be very fun, particularly out in the West where we might have the Lakers and Warriors playing to see who gets sent home.
He's so awesome.
I have nothing else to add at this point. We're grabbing straws here. This is as disgusting as it can get. The final day of the regular season, just an absolute mess. Anytime you can get to a 97% boom rate on Craig Porter Jr., you got to do it. Number one play on today's slate.
Yep.
I'm excited to start talking about playoff basketball, really digging into rotations, potential changes that could be made. We're about to start what is my favorite time of the NBA season. Now we get to go watch some golf.
Yep. Get to go watch golf. Get to go, I don't know. I'm going to be sweating my Timberwolves. That's for sure. For multiple reasons, not only a chance at the 1 seed, although very, very slim, unlikely, more than likely the 2, if they can get it done. But that line has gone pretty heavy in Phoenix's favor now. And I have that under 48.5 wins ticket, multiple under 48.5 wins tickets for the Suns that, well, they're going to be made or not today. I'm not going to hedge it. So here we are.
All righty, folks. Thank you for joining us. We have reached the end of the NBA regular season. It has been a hell of a journey since October. Thank you to you guys for being here. Thank you to PrizePicks for sponsoring. Thank you to Playback for hosting us over this past month and a half, 2 months. We're not going anywhere there either. We'll see you guys throughout the rest of the month. But that's going to do it. Tuesday morning, NBA strategy show. You know exactly where I will be. So long as I don't get grabbed by jury duty tomorrow and find out that I am in the murder of the century, I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Good luck, everybody. This is the end of the NBA Live Before Lock.